This is a guide for how to survive as a solo player in Dark and Darker. So I got a bunch of different tips for you depending on your class and other universal tips. Let's go right into this. I don't have gameplay footage for all the classes, but I know it's mainly just explaining to you all the different things. So one of the first most universal things is if you have a budget at all, if you have any gold at all, if you've ever made it out, and you have any money at all, then you'll want to get different things. Now this is Alpha Playtest 3. A lot of these things will change in the future. If you have enough money, you'll want to buy these cheap healing potions because they heal the most amount of money for the amount of gold that they cost. And then also consider getting a campfire depending on what class you are, just to be able to regen. And then also you could get bandages, but generally it's better just to pop a bunch of these, these cheap healing potions, and then use a campfire to get abilities back if applicable, depending on your class. Now, in order to play solo, it depends on what you want to do. Now, I have an insane amount of experience playing solo as a cleric, and I mean, they just reset the leaderboard recently, but it's like, I actually have been able to get out tons of times on high roller even as a solo cleric. And in order to do this, it depends on the class. Now, for cleric, it's much easier to get out as a rat. So it's like, the big question is, do you want to play rat gameplay, or do you want to play and try to kill people anyway and stuff? Now, if you're going to go into a high roller as a solo and you want to actually kill people and stuff and get out, your best bet is going to be playing either a ranger or a rogue. Anything that's actually just straight up confrontational is not going to do well. Your only other option might be a fighter, but anything else like a wizard or a barbarian, there's just no way you're going to be able to kill the 3-mans in high roller unless you're insanely good and you get a lobby of people who are just okay to bad, as far as skill level goes. But generally, if you want to play solo, it's much better to do the normal queue, at least in this alpha playtest number 3. And because, it's just going to be tough to survive as anything other than a ranger, rogue, or cleric in high roller solo. So it depends on what class you are. If you're a cleric, the easiest way is just to play like a rat because it's already so hard to kill people. And there's just so much you can do, and I'll show you some of the stuff you can do for rat gameplay. We'll talk about rat gameplay in a sec. The other thing is if you're playing as a rogue, it's really about turning invis at the right time and just bringing these invis potions with you whenever you can, and just going invisible and just like having people run right past you and stuff. And that's like a different way for that. Rangers, it's also going to be kind of like rat play, but you also can kind of pick at people from a distance and then run into the zone and stuff, and be able to play around like that. Everyone else, if you want to play solo, it's like you got to try to play kind of like a rat, but you can't go out in the zone very much. Like rangers and clerics are the ones that can hang out in the plague, but all the other classes are going to struggle, which the other classes are going to need these potions just to be able to hang out for a little bit of time in the plague. But rangers have ranger rations and clerics have heals, so they can really rat it out hard. Now, if you're brand new and you're going solo and you don't have any money or anything, I would recommend just going in with whatever default stuff it starts you with, and just go until you eventually get out with stuff. And then you can use some of the tricks and stuff that I'm going to explain to you here, and then hopefully you'll be able to start getting out occasionally. And then once you get money, then you can try to be a little bit more, refined with what you're bringing in and stuff. All right, so I'm going to jump us right into an actual game, and I'm going to explain to you a bunch of the stuff that you need to know. There's so many important things to survive as a solo. The number one thing is you need to hear and see them before they hear and see you. So first thing is be aware of footsteps, sounds, mobs fighting, stuff like that. You want to be able to hear them, and you don't want them to hear you if you're a solo. You always want to have the element of surprise on your side. So the very first thing that you do when you spawn is you're going to look at the mini map at the bottom right and see if there's nearby spawns. So in this case, there's one right nearby, so I go to this wall and listen. And I don't hear anything. But in some cases, if you ever start right next to a spawner, you'll hear a bunch of noise, or a door open and stuff, and you go, okay, there's people right nearby. Then depending on what class you are, you'll decide what to do. Now, as a cleric, if they're right nearby and they're actually going to get here fast, or could get here fast, then I would just hang out in this room, and I would bring out my invis potion if I have one, and I would literally just wait here, and if I hear the door opening, I'll just pop a potion and turn invis, like right here, which I've done multiple times, and maybe I'll even include a clip of it if I remember to do it. I'll probably be too lazy, but we'll see. Oh, that's GG, boys. Okay. Well, that's GG. Yeah. I used the invis too soon. I'm dead. No way. No way. No way. No way, dude. No way. But anyway, then once you go in as a solo, there's a few things that you need to be aware of. So you're going to be clearing rooms as reasonably fast as possible, but you're also going to want to watch out for other players and start, like, scanning around for them. So let me just clear this real fast to show you what I mean. Okay, so someone's on the other side. They're fighting that mage, which as a cleric now, I've made a ton of noise. They probably know I'm here, which is very bad. So I'm going to go over here. And then I still have time because they have to go for quite some time to be able to get to me over here. So I'm going to go over here now. And people frequently will spawn over here. Learning the spawns is important. You'll do it after enough time. But go over here. Look over here. Listen over here. I don't think anyone's in here. So I'm going to go in here. But normally people in here. And if there was someone in here, I'd run back in my spawn and just wait. Because there's really nothing else I can do. Now, people frequently spawn over here. So, I mean, I don't need to check spawn rooms. But, you know, you can check spawn rooms too. And it's an important thing to stay alive. So you can go over to here. And then, if you're playing really safe, so because that one guy heard me, I may just wait here instead of clearing this room. Or I may even go back and then start to listen for the guy or whatever. So, like, I could go over to here. And also, heal shrines are important. So, you definitely keep track of those if you have to play in the zone. They can save your life. So, walk back over here. Just walk. You can hold shift to walk slowly. Gelly's mad. There's the player, I think. Yep, there was the player. So he might have, he probably saw me. People are very vigilant in this game. So I'm going to walk slowly to try to not make noise. And then I'm going to go into this room. And I'm going to wait for the plague to come in. Now, I'm so far away now. You have to always be aware of sound. I'm far enough away right now that he probably won't hear this door close. And then I can go over to here. And I can get an invis potion. I can be far enough away from the door that he might not hear me drink it. And I'm just going to sit here until the zone passes me. Because most people don't like hanging out in the zone, especially if they don't have a way to heal themselves like rangers or clerics. And this is why it's important, if you can, to bring health potions. Now, if you're playing as a fighter or a rogue or something like that, especially a rogue, you can definitely stay in and try to, like, either fight them or try to fight, like, you know, find a different way around and try to, like, maybe I'd go through and aggro all the mummies, open a door and just go to the southwest and try to, like, get out of this scenario. But if you're a ranger or a cleric, or if you just have a bunch of healing potions, then you can just sit here in the zone and wait for them to basically leave, or just give it some time and then listen. Like, so I don't think he's coming. So a scenario like this as a solo, you're gonna go up and you're gonna listen now. And I don't hear anything. I don't hear anything. So I'm gonna assume that he didn't actually go through there, because let's pretend I'm like a fighter. That a fighter or a barbarian or something, you're not going to have as much ability to hang out in the zone. So I'm just going to assume, I'm going to try to, like, show this as if it was not a cleric, because cleric can just rat to hell. And you can already see where cleric could just chill. I could just heal. I could use a campfire. I do whatever I want. So he didn't go through here, actually. I might have spooked him. Or did he die? Maybe he died. Sometimes people die, and then you can, you know, go grab their stuff. I can't tell if that's a potion or not. I think he died. So I'm going to clear this and see if he died. Sometimes players die, especially on normal, and then you can clear them. So I'm going to open this up. Or you can loot them, I mean. And another important thing as a solo is you need to learn how to kill every single mob in the game without getting totally screwed over. And that'll just take time and practice. I may make a guide at some point for enemies and stuff. But yeah, it looks like he died on accident. He may have had a team, so one of them, he might have died, and the other two might have ran off. I don't really know. So that door, both doors are open. I'm going to loot this guy and see what's going on. Okay, I'm going to loot him again. He doesn't really have anything for me. But they already destroyed all that. They probably went that way if any of them survived. So now another thing as a rat in this type of scenario, you look at the map, look where the zone is. The next zone is forward. So I can go right to get in the zone. Or I can go left and try to swing out wide. Now, if I heard players over here, like if I sneak over here and I hear fighting or I hear spell casts, then I would just go south and I would go all the way around. Or in some cases, like in this particular case, there's a lever right here, and I can actually sneak through right here and loot while also moving forward. So that made a ton of noise. Gonna be kind of careful now and take a listen. All right. So now we can go into here. Since I don't hear anyone, I'm going to break these boxes. But normally when you break boxes, be extremely careful because this is extremely loud to break boxes. So you always want to think like, is anybody close enough to be able to hear this? Yes or no. Always want to think about that before you start breaking boxes and things. It's so loud. So now what you could do in a scenario like this is you can take the secret path and then you can just loot this while waiting. You can also peek through these doors. See if you see anyone. Nobody. Okay. Go over to this. Start looting this and just listen. Usually put torches away when looting. And there's also some tricks for solo as well that are really important to know about that I'm just going to throw in here randomly. Hopefully you're still watching at this point. Which is, for example, these potions, you can see them on my belt. Now, I can't see them in first person, but you can see them. Even when I'm in the darkness like this, they just glow. They're very obvious. So if you're ever going to hide in the darkness, you can put your potions away and just hide in a dark place. Oh, this place is not very dark. But if it was fully dark, you could hide here, and they might not be able to see you. Now, right now, again, this is not a dark enough room to do it. But with those potions put away, it's actually hard to see you, and you might be able to get away with something like that. So that's another thing that's really important. Another thing that's important is breaking barrels and boxes can potentially drop campfires. And if you can get a bunch of campfires, then... if you can get a bunch of campfires, then you can hang out in the zone for a really long time, even as a fighter or something. Because a campfire will heal you for, depending on the tier of it, it'll heal you for, say, 40% all the way to full heal, depending on how good it is. So, yeah, then once if you have campfires and heals, you can hang out in the zone for a little while, and everything's good. Another good thing about hanging out in the zone is that you can kill mobs and break boxes without anyone hearing you or noticing you, which then allows you to get a little bit more loot that you normally wouldn't be able to get. So, like, I'm just going to hang out. You see how close I am to the zone? I can get to the zone whenever I want, basically. So I'm going to hang out in the zone now and get loot. Since I'm a solo, getting loot's really hard. So I'm going to hang out in the zone, just get some loot real fast, drink potions, come in, maybe use a bandage if I have one, my starter bandage or something, and just not worry about it too much. I got those campfires I found. Maybe I'll pop a campfire if I need to. We're going to take that, and then we're going to loot these, and then you're just going to work your way back in, and you're just going to keep doing this. But there's something you need to be aware of once you get down to about 3 to 4 minutes left, which is about where we're at now, is you got to find a portal, right? So in order to find a portal, it's really a tough decision here, and it depends on what the other people almost force you to do. But generally, what's going to happen is you're going to, once the zone starts closing in real hard, like these last circles, you're going to try to get into the zone like a decent amount and actually start getting in. Because if you're in the zone on these last ones and the portals spawn while you're in the zone, you'll be able to hear the portals come up. But if you're like coming in late, you won't hear the portals come up. And then also it'll be so dark because when you're in the zone, you'll see how dark it gets. Even though they're glowing blue, it's very hard to see them sometimes, and you'll just totally miss them and not even like notice them. So it's much, much easier to find a portal if you wait till the last 3 circles or so, and then you just try to get in close enough for one to spawn near you. And if you can do that, then your odds of getting out go through the roof. And that's something that I started doing more recently in my solo runs, and it's made my odds of getting out like double or triple. Right there, hear it? Yeah, I heard it, and I also think I heard a player. So we're gonna go over here and investigate, see if we can actually find this portal. And there it is. So now all we gotta do is kill this and pray that nobody comes behind us. I'm gonna back this up, so that way, if someone does come, I can run into the plague. Now again, as a solo, if a team shows up on you, or team rolls up on you, your best bet is to put your weapons away so you run faster, and then just run into the zone as far as you can till they stop chasing. That's literally your best bet as a solo. Now these spiders are going to beat on me, but I'm going to ignore them just to open this portal because I'll survive. And now, normally, depending on how you feel, you either just get out now, or if you're greedy, you can try to loot a little bit more. It just depends on what you want to do. Now, I have this portal, so I'm going to close this so nobody sneaks in and steals it from me. And then I'm going to go in here and loot a little bit more since I have my front facing this. And I'm going to heal up to full so nobody just ambushes me with an arrow and shoots me and one-taps me. And then I'm just going to sit here and loot and then leave once I'm ready to leave. And at this point, you get the point of how this goes as a solo. Like, this is rat solo gameplay, though. But this is something you can absolutely play it this way. Also, skelly archers are kind of weird to deal with. So I need to wait for him to, oh, never mind. He fired twice. Alright, well, I killed him, but at what cost? So, cleric's a little different. You're going to play that however. If I was a fighter, that would be way easier. Break that. They always drop some loot. Let's see what they dropped. It didn't drop loot. I got baited. Alright, going to open up this chest. And then I guess I'm just going to get out of here. And that's like a pretty good solo run. I mean, I literally get out, like, when I want to get out, I get out, like, maybe 80% of the time on normals like this as a solo. Like, it's very easy. Can I kill this guy? Oh. Damn. I could have had the kill on him if I would have been more aware. Alright, I'm out. And in this scenario, this is why you have a portal open. You just get out. And there you go. Easy solo run. Able to avoid everybody. It's all about awareness. It's all about getting out and stuff without being noticed as much as possible. And if you have to take a red portal, just take a red portal and try your hand at the 3rd level and see if eventually learn it, get good at it and stuff. And like, so a lot of times I'll get forced to go down instead of getting out. And that's fine. And, you know, sometimes you die in that scenario and sometimes you get out. And once you've done it enough, you'll know the rooms. You'll know all the mobs down in hell. You'll know which ones to avoid. You'll know which ones to pull into rooms and close doors on them and things. And there's just tons of little tricks that I can't even explain to you without making this video last forever. You know what I mean? Like, you can do things where mobs chase you. You run them into rooms. And then you close the door behind you and you trap them in a room and stuff. You can do that to get rid of the centaurs and different tricks like that that you'll learn just by playing. And so I'd recommend, like, you know, you do the basics of what I just taught you in this video, and then just go to hell. Go to hell. It sounds so funny. Go to the hell level whenever you get forced into it, and just slowly over time just learn how to do that level and just get through it without any issues or anything like that. But yeah, if you play like how I just played, and you play it tactically, and you listen, and you take your time, and you check other spawns, and you just hide and wait, and you're willing to be patient, even if you don't have self-heals like this cleric class does, you'll still be able to play as a rat and just get out a decent amount of the time. But also, even if you're going to play where you actually try to kill other players, you saw there at the end how easily I could have killed that player if I would have been more aggressive about it. If I would have been, like, I would have been more focused on killing players instead of just getting out. I could have been in a position where I could have just easily killed that guy and then tried to fight his team. So even if you're going to play aggressive and your whole goal is still to kill people and get out, even as a solo, playing the way that I just showed, it's still the way to go, because then you can sneak up on teams that aren't expecting you to be there. Especially on normal, because the players on normal are much easier. Like, they're just generally not as good. High rollers always, like, the better players on average. Not always, but usually they're better. And so they'll, like, notice you immediately and stuff. But on normals, you can often just sneak up on someone like that and just conk them and take them out, get some free loot, and then get out and stuff. So even if you're going to be aggressive, it still helps to play like a rat and wait for the opportune moment to strike. And that's generally the way that it's going to go. So that's a bunch of tips. That's like a demo run, all sorts of stuff. I hope this video helped you guys. My whole point of this video was to help you understand how to survive as a solo and get out regardless of what class you are. Again, if you self-heals like a ranger with the ranger rations, or a cleric with the heal, or if you just can afford a bunch of potions and bring in like 9 potions every time or something, or fighter heal, although you can't refresh it with a campfire. But if you just have some heals and stuff, then you can hang out in the zone. But don't be afraid of the zone, at least in this playtest. It doesn't hit that hard in playtest 3. So yeah, just take your time, be patient, be tactical, be smart about it, and you can easily get out all the time in normal. It's actually not so bad. So hopefully I helped you out. Hopefully now you have a better idea of how to survive as a solo player in Dark and Darker.